Laura Oldaker is a serial entrepreneur. When the real estate industry collapsed 10 years ago, Laura and her husband went totally broken. That's when she discovered her real passion, taking care of seniors. Now Laura manages 3 corporations in the $400 billion senior care market.
So we are currently serving the older adult population, serving the elderly through direct care, through education of the professional caregivers and education of the family caregivers.
But this kind of business requires much more than being a good administrator or being good with money. Taking care of seniors requires lots of sensitivity, love for others, and an avid drive to learn more about the human condition. In this very inspiring conversation, Laura shares with us Cómo Lo Hizo.
Éxito.
Success.
Hábitos.
Habits.
¿Cómo lo hizo?
How do they make it?
Descubra las costumbres y secretos de los triunfadores.
Discover the habits and the secrets of those who have succeeded.
Hello, everyone. Today in Cómo Lo Hizo, we have Laura Oldaker. Laura, nice to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me to join you today. I'm so excited to be chatting.
That's wonderful. Thank you for joining us also. Hey, Laura, I think that you are a serial entrepreneur. So how many companies are you managing at this point?
So currently we actually own 3 companies. We just recently sold one. And so we're managing 3 companies, all within the same industry, and I'm sure that we'll have an opportunity to share all about them.
What industry are you in?
So we are currently serving the older adult population, serving the elderly through direct care, through education of the professional caregivers and education of the family caregivers.
Well, the numbers for the senior care market are staggering. That's a $400 billion industry, correct?
It is. It's an industry that it's an emerging field. It's an emerging industry because of the need. There is a high need, a large number of individuals that have a need for care, that have a need for products and services that are tailored to them. We actually also serve the family caregiver, and as you know, I'm sure that you're familiar with all the numbers. 10,000 adults are reaching retirement age every single day, and of those, 40 million family caregivers in the United States right now.
That's amazing. Now, one of the factors is that life is better, let's say like that, health, medical services, lifestyle, everything has changed, so the people live longer, correct?
That's correct. We're living longer, and we're living a good quality life, and that's exactly what our goal is to provide tools and services that help people live an amazing life. They're at the golden age, right? They're in their golden years, and they deserve to have the best quality care out there.
Of course. Now, did you jump into this industry kind of after researching and seeing, oh my God, this is an emerging industry, look how big it is, or was also kind of a human, emotional factor involved in your decision?
All of the above. So I'll share a little bit of my story. So I actually started working with older adults right out of high school at the age of 18 because for a couple of reasons. Number one, because I was always called to serve the elderly. Us Latinos, we love our parents, we love our grandparents, and it's kind of in us. So I helped take care of my grandma, and I started working with older adults, helping them as a nursing assistant and as a caregiver, so that I can also pay myself through college, right? Pay my way through college. I actually attended college for journalism. But continued through college, continued to volunteer and work as a caregiver to help older adults. And And so then I did journalism for a few years and then decided to get out of the field. And my husband, Justin, and I at that time decided to invest all of our savings into real estate, right? And so we were one of those flippers that you see on TV. So we were buying homes that were kind of destroyed, and we would fix them up and make them beautiful. We love seeing the transition of like something real ugly to something beautiful that people, a family was going to come and live in. And then the market crashed. And so when the market crashed, the real estate market crashed, we lost everything. So much that I needed to get a job. One of my friends who was also a caregiver and was working with the elderly offered me a job and said to me, I know that you're kind of looking for a job. And so she offered me a job. I took that job. And by the time I came back a few years later into the industry, I remember how much I loved it. I remember how much I loved working with the older adults, working with the elderly, helping them feel good about themselves, helping them with even the most basic activities of daily living that sometimes you and I take for granted, right? And the rest of the world, of course. So that was just a phenomenal comeback into the industry for me because it really opened my eyes to the need that was out there. And then at that time, those figures I just shared with you, the 10,000 people retiring every day, were starting to come out. It was 10 years ago in 2009 or 2009. And so it was just about the time right before the baby boomers started to reach retirement age. So then we actually recognized the opportunity that, these staggering numbers were presenting for the industry and particularly for us.
Interesting. So you had quite a journey because you were working in the real estate, flipping homes, which is very demanding, and then everything collapsed, and then you have to pivot and think, what are you going to do now? With your husband, what are we going to do now? So because your background, you were able to identify this industry, so you jump into it as well, correct? Now,
we did, yes. That's exactly what happened.
I heard that you were kind of broken. So how did you start it? How do you turn it into a business?
We were totally broke. So I took that job that my friend offered me. And I started working 16 hours a day. My husband took a job in construction installing commercial cabinets, and which was new to him. We just basically went out and said, okay, any job, we just need a job to support our kids. And so he was working another 12 hours a day. We were working opposite schedules. So we didn't see each other practically for about 6 months. And So we were taking my check and also his check to kind of start the business. But the business really started with me, one caregiver. By Your Side Senior Care was her original business. And it started with me, one caregiver, and one client, one older adult who trusted me to provide the best care to her. And so that's how it started. And then, the word got out that I was doing a good job, and I got another client and another one, and then I had to hire my first employee. I took my husband Justin's check to pay the first employee. So it was really, it was kind of a planned but an unplanned growth because we were just kind of like, okay, let's jump on in, let's make it happen. But as things were developing and evolving, we were growing with the company.
Interesting. So how did you grow actually? Because it was word of mouth or you did some marketing?
Well, we did both. I mean, at first, when you're really small, you have to make ends meet. And so you do everything you need to do. You make your business cards, print them at, your local print shop, and you design your own logo in your computer, right? And then you go pass out business cards. So it was basically myself passing out business cards, to people in the industry and recommendation from the people that I had served that had a good experience with our services. And so we've had a lot of great support from our local community here with, entrusting us with their elderly loved ones.
So,
and recommending us.
How many customers you have at this point? About, you don't have to tell me the exact number.
So we are a medium-sized company. So we actually have that company's actually shrink a little bit more because we are moving to the education side. And so the majority of our customers are actually business to business. So we have evolved a little bit into staffing services. So we serve all of Southern Arizona, all of the assisted living communities, the skilled nursing facilities, so in Southern Arizona is very common that we have assisted living homes, which is a residential home that where about 10 residents, 10 older adults live in that home. So we serve all of those communities. So let's say that their employee, their caregiver doesn't show up for the day, they'll call us, and then we'll send someone who is amazing and qualified. So there's about 400 communities here in Southern Arizona, and we serve almost all of them with their staffing needs.
And how long did you take to grow the business? From day one, from that day when you had only one customer to today?
So it's been 10 years. I would say that we could see at about year 3 to year 4, we started to recognize that we had something, that there was an opportunity that we could continue to grow. And so I would say that it took us about 3 to 4 years to kind of iron out the wrinkles, the kinks that as a business owner who has really no background in business, it took me about 4 years to learn, what it is to run a business, and where we felt like, okay, now we're making a little bit of money, we're not in the right numbers anymore, let's grow again. So first it was growth, and then you get to a plateau, and then you have to reinvent yourself. And so that's exactly what we've done. We started out with providing direct care to our elderly, and then after a few years, we expanded. We expanded to now we're going to expand into staffing, and we're going to serve the businesses that need caregivers. And in 2015, we actually also expanded again to where we realized there was a pain point in the market, and that pain point was shortage of caregivers. There's a huge problem in the United States with a shortage of caregivers, nurses, any type of healthcare workers. So we recognized that. Right. And we opened Academy for Caregiving Excellence, which is a professional healthcare worker training program. It's an academy that trains nursing assistants, caregivers, and gets them ready, licensed, and certified to go out into the work. So that happened in 2015. Interesting, when you mention the word expansion or pivoting or that kind of decision, who does it? Do you read? How do you find out or identify the area that you want to expand or pivot? So I have been very fortunate to have been accepted into great programs that exist out there. One of the programs that we were part of is called the 10KSB, the 10,000 Small Businesses, which is put out by Goldman Sachs. Mm-hmm. Goldman Sachs has invested in small businesses, and through Babson College in Boston, Massachusetts, they put this program. Amazing program that helps business owners look at their business and design a growth plan. So for businesses that are ready to grow and you have an idea of which direction you want to go, they take you from A to Z, help you design the growth plan, and then get you connected with either investors or lenders, CDFIs, or local lenders that can help you get that growth plan going. So I've been able to take advantage of opportunities out there that have helped me or that have helped us to get to the next step, to take the next step to the next level.
What I see interesting is that actually you are the passion, the drive, because you want to to learn. You find new venues to discover new areas to expand, to do it. So that's a great attitude, because many of us entrepreneurs, when we open a